Which wife has it better? Okay. I see this debate going on social media about traditional wives and stay at home wives versus modern slash career women. So I thought it would be good for me to put my 2 cents in. If you're new here, my name is Athena Gardner. I am founder of Wewealth Women, where we help women to create the wealthy life that they deserve to become wealthy goddesses. So today I'm actually tackling this subject matter not from a cultural or even like a preference perspective, but to put into the argument or what we need to discuss is from a financial and wealth perspective, does each wife who has it better? Is there a is there a wife path that guarantees wealth? And if not, what are the things to consider when choosing to be either a traditional stay-at-home wife or a modern career wife? So at first, I want to get started with before I go into any other detail, I am not passing judgment. I do not care what any woman chooses to do, but I do care that, and the goal of We Wealth Women is that you are informed of your choices during your womanhood journey to position yourself for the best possible outcomes and to increase your wealth along the way. So I will be giving information based on that perspective. Now, traditional wife, stay at home wife. Okay, so I'm going to start there first. Um, I would define this as a wife that stays at home. Her primary duties are to take care of the husband and the kids and the home. She's not really venturing out to any kind of corporate job or focusing on creating any kind of business for herself. Her main duties are to take care of the family and her partner, whether it be her husband, is the one who is focusing on garnering the financial resources for the family. So I'm going to start there. Um, Traditional wives stay at home from a financial perspective. I would say that they are the most vulnerable. And the reason why I would say this type of wife is the most vulnerable is because she is not the one securing the money or the income. And there's a lot of dynamics within those type of relationships where it causes to have less financial transparency and less financial control. The traditional stay-at-home wives are at risk for financial infidelity more. They are at risk of, in the event of possible divorce, that their financial foundation is uprooted. And we find with traditional stay-at-home wives that some are on top of it now. Actually, a lot of wives in those households tend to run budgets because they're the one buying and purchasing things for the home. But there's also a lot of cases where in the event that the relationship doesn't work out for whatever reason, and in an event of divorce, that they are left definitely in a more vulnerable position. Now, since they have been traditional stay-at-home wives, since they have not been the one to garner income outside of the home, in those instances, the court, and this is dependent on states, countries, all of that. So there are nuances to all of that, of what I'm about to say, but they will consider her to get outside of child support, which in a lot of cases is not a lot of money anyway. Outside of child support, she will be able to get alimony or maintenance since she was not working outside of the home and her partner was the one bringing in income. So, but as far as quality of life is concerned, post divorce, usually traditional wives, stay at home wives, have a lot of financial vulnerability because during that time, most of them have not been working. So even if you had a career before and then now you sat down, those skills that you had, you've been sitting down for X amount of years. So you're coming back into the workplace potentially, which most of them have to do because now that the household is split, the increases as far as home expenses and things of that, they usually, the statistics is around 45% of women, more than half, experience a decrease in lifestyle. So, and a good chunk of them, I think 25% of them face like poverty or homelessness. So, and I'm not saying this to scare you, I'm saying to give you the information, and I will link some articles and research to substantiate what I'm saying in the description box. But that's basically what happens. So since they haven't been outside of the home garnering resources, they're kind of thrust into this. Not only are you taking a lifestyle downgrade because you're not using the combined income and saving with like shared expenses, now you're faced, if your man wasn't wealthy to begin with, or he was just making enough to get you through, now you're faced with having to put yourself back either in the job market or create some kind of business to supplement income in addition to the maintenance and child support or whatever you may be getting from your divorce. Also, it has been found that men in those situations can tend to be very difficult in divorce because with traditional wives or stay-at-home wives, a lot of them, in order to do that, your partner would have needed to make a certain amount of money to float the household, and those tend to be high-paying, high stressful careers. And um, men who are in those careers tend to be very increased chances in divorce to be unpleasant and difficult and not trying to give you anything. So that is another situation. So traditional stay-at-home wives have that issue. Now, if you never had a career, right? So if you were in an instance where maybe you were a career wife before, career person, career woman before you sat down, now you're charged with what do you do now um, to make income for your kids, for your family. So I find traditional stay-at-home wives to be very financially vulnerable in that situation, in the event of divorce. Now, within the marriage, there can be situations where um, it depends on what kind of traditional wife you are. I've seen two types. I've seen the type where they're not trying to worry about anything. They just swipe the card and take care of kids. And there are the other ones who are very insistent on financial transparency, what the money is doing, how much money do we have. To hedge against vulnerability, my suggestion would be to, even though you are not the one working outside of the home to bring in money, that you have your own account where some of that money gets put just for you to have your own savings, for you to get a spousal retirement account, for you to even build your own business. A lot of stay-at-home traditional wives have mom businesses where they're on YouTube hawking like Amazon products or baking cookies or whatever, or have a business inside of the home. That will, even if it's a hobby that you like, turn that into a business because that will help you stave off some of the financial vulnerability I'm talking about. And whether or not you are a traditional wife or a career wife, sometimes there will be situations where the other person has more financial control over the money. And certain abuses or mistreatment is probably a better word. Financial mistreatment can occur when another partner makes more than the other in these scenarios, especially. So you want to just make sure that you have something, whether or not it's family money you make on the side. He gives you X amount, or your partner gives you X amount, and you put X amount aside for yourself. You should always have access to money, financial transparency, and money put aside for yourself. Those are the three things that are going to help you through that situation. Now, modern career wife. I would say the modern career wife, so wives who also go to work, have a job, contribute financially to the household, they tend to be less financially vulnerable in the event of divorce because they already have a career. However, since that they already have a career, they are very much so less likely to get any kind of alimony unless there was a significant disparity between their income and their partner's income, because most courts are going to look at that as your ability to maintain yourself. So maintenance or alimony is really looked from the standpoint of your ability to maintain yourself in the event of you go your separate ways. So if you're in a 50-50 situation, or you are a working modern career wife, then you are at highly likely of not getting alimony. Now, you may, if you have children, and this goes for the same for like a traditional wife too, you and you you have full custody or primary custody, your chances for child support is very high. Even so, child support is not from a general standpoint. Child support is not a lot of money, not in my opinion. So when we look at child support, what's the average child support? We're going to use the US as an example. This is where I live. The average child support is $500. I've seen ranges between $350 and $500. Now, what are we supposed to do with that in this economy? What are we supposed to do with that in this economy, with the average child support being 350 to 500 a month? Now, different states, different countries calculate child support differently. On average, it's going to be 15 to 25% of the gross income for one child, with percentages increasing for additional children. So if you have more than one kid. But if you are in a situation for both wives, you do that math. If you're a modern career wife, your chances of you getting alimony is not going to happen. So in the event of divorce, you would have to count on the income that you make now plus maybe $500 per month, or 15 to 25% per child. If you do that calculation, you will also find that in most cases, in the event of divorce, there's a decrease in lifestyle. There's a decrease in lifestyle. There's a decrease, but you're not going to, from a financial standpoint, should your marriage not work, it's going to be mostly up to you, right? It's going to be up to you and that $500 a month. This account, $500 a month is not. It's not giving what it's supposed to give. $500 a month. What is rent? What is mortgages? Yeah. So basically, and this sounds really sad, but basically, you want your marriage, regardless of what type of wife you are, whether or not you're a traditional wife, a career modern wife, you want your marriage to be harmonious and one that works, because in most cases, in the event of divorce, it's not an increase unless your partner was super wealthy and which in statistically, most of the wealth is concentrated in less than 5%. So unless your partner is considerably wealthy, you are going to, as a woman, operate at some kind of loss or deficit in the event of divorce, whether or not you're a traditional wife or a career wife. But I would say traditional wives are more financially vulnerable because of that setup. Now, Modern wives tend, because they're contributing to the household, they tend to have more financial transparency. They tend to have their own accounts or put money aside. And when they have to move on because they've been working, they already have a viable career. There is going to be stress in those situations, but they tend to be financially better. But from a non-financial perspective, they tend to be more overworked, tired, exhausted, because when most career modern wives, it's not like, from my perspective, looking from the outside in and observing these relationships, they're basically doing two jobs, and they're not necessarily doing both jobs well because their energy and their time is split. So instead of, okay, they bring in extra money, so let's hire more help. Let's hire a nanny to help. Um, let's get food taken out, or get someone to help cook food, or things like that to supplement household duties. That's not really occurring usually, or there's a huge number, a percentage of women who go to work and then come home and have to do most of the motherly duties. Comment down below if you want me to do a video about the unpaid labor of women, and what we need to know about that as we're making financial decisions, right? Regardless of any wife that you choose to be in your path, there are cases and a lot of instances where women are expected to take, or may take, breaks from their career, or if a traditional wife, to care for a sick child, a sick partner, or an ailing parent. The statistic on that is, on average, women forfeit up to $1 million. Repeat that. Women forfeit up to $1 million. I think it was like 750 to a million from career breaks to take time to care for their family or to care for their ailing parent. Now, that is a value. So when people are saying that, especially if you're not working, like, for bringing in income, your choice to not work, whether or not you're a career woman taking a break or you're just a traditional stay-at-home wife, has financial implications. Your choice to not work means that you are missing out on money, on wealth that you could be generating for your own self, right? So that is a sacrifice that you are making, because that's money that you could have made, that you could have put aside for yourself, for your own retirement, for your own wealth building purposes. So it is a sacrifice when women choose to not work to take care of the family in whatever capacity, whether or not it's a short-term break because you have a career, or that is just your role as a traditional stay-at-home wife. So I want you to understand that, because unpaid labor of women for our nurturing capabilities and capacities does financially impact us. And if your partner, at whatever capacity, whether or not you're a traditional wife or a modern career wife, does not respect that, then it could have serious financial implications for you, for your future, or if that relationship does not work out, right? So I've talked a lot. I know you're like, whoo, Athena, this is a lot to consider, right? Does any one particular wife has it better from a financial perspective? I would say no. And the reason I would say no is, if you're a traditional wife, yeah, you're going to have those financial vulnerabilities if you don't work out, right? But a modern career woman are going to face those same issues if the event of the relationship doesn't work out. The only difference, or the leg up, I guess would say, is that because they had a career that was going well or a career before, she can continue working, right? But on the back end of that, her chances of getting alimony to help take care of herself or kids is drastically reduced, while a traditional wife can stand to get that since she has not been working from her home. So what I'm trying to say is, whichever wife that you choose to be, you do not escape financial implications of loss within those relationships. So if you are getting married and you're going to be a wife, your best bet is for that relationship to stand the test of time and to work out, because if it doesn't, your chances of financial loss, you're not winning. Your chances of financial loss are very, very, very high unless the man or your partner is very wealthy, and that is a very small percentage of women. Right? Most women face poverty. I think the percentage 45% of women face poverty and homelessness when they get divorced, right? Most women actually have to go live with a family member and try to rebuild, right? Comment down below if you want me to do a video on should women get married and the financial implications of marriage that women need to consider and how to financially protect yourself in marriage. We have our own membership community, and I will be doing a masterclass basically on how to financially protect yourself within marriage, or how to focus on minimizing the financial loss and what the financial implications are. So if you're interested in joining the membership community, you can go to join.wewealthwomen.com. And if you're interested in consult with me to do our membership community, podcast, our blog, newsletter, everything is going to be on our website at wewealthwomen.com. Go there and you will have all the information to connect with us, especially sign up for the newsletter. Our newsletter is called the Wealth Notes, and you will get information on how to help you become the wealthy goddess that you deserve. So go to go.wewealthwomen.com to get access to our newsletter. What I will also say is that I know I was talking a lot about divorce, right? But it's not only divorce that you need to worry about from financial loss. As a traditional wife, stay-at-home wife, as a modern woman, career woman, you also have to worry about death. You also have to worry about an event that your husband dies on you. So it's not just him leaving you. The same implications can happen to a woman who's widowed, because now you're faced with actually, I think death might be worse, because now you're faced with having to take care of your household. And if you don't have insurance or don't have your paper stacked up, that's a whole different struggle. Comment down below if you want me to do a video on how to prepare for like widowhood or that type of situation. So which wife has it better? There is none. Okay, there is no wife that has it better. You are making a sacrifice financially once you are married. Okay, there will be financial implications. And every woman has financial implications. Even single women have financial implications. So if you're a single woman, comment down below if you want me to do a single woman video. But all right, loves, I love you guys. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Wewealth Women. And I will see you in the next episode.